Okay. I believe we are live now.
Welcome, everyone, to the Prosper Nutrition Show, April 27th, 2023. We're going to talk today about the sugar blues. And, of course, this is our month on reversing diabetes naturally. I have my co-host, Jason Steves, who is my whiz kid at the helm over here.
Hello, everyone. I am the clinical account specialist. I got tongue-tied there for a second. Clinical account specialist for Perk Integrative Health. So I am working with professionals, helping them use supplement formulas and testing with their patients, and also do some personal training on the side. And Steve and I obviously work together on different projects as well. So thank you all. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's always exciting to get together with you, Jason, because we've been doing this for so many years together. And I think when the two of us are together, there's such an increase of just excitement and zeal that pours out on the people we just feed off each other because we love doing this work for the Lord. So, hey, how about that quote? I got a Shakespeare's quote here.
Yeah.
Read that for us, would you?
Let's see here. The taste of sweetness whereof a little more than a little is by much too much.
That was, I think, Henry VIII's part in the Shakespeare play. But, we wish that everybody would be in health, and we can all get into too much sugar very easily these days, not like in the day of Shakespeare. Even in the scriptures, it says in the Proverbs, that we can eat honey. It's good. In fact, I have a New Living Translation says, do you like honey? And don't eat too much or it'll make you sick. Proverbs 25:16. I really encourage that we can enjoy sugar, but in moderation. We're going to talk about glycemic index. Hopefully we can get that pulled up and talk about what that involves and how people can understand different artificial sweeteners and the pros and cons, shoulds and should nots in our eyes. So, I was afflicted many years ago. Psalm 119, verse 71. I praise God in the midst of after my affliction, knowing that He had a purpose in it, that I could be used through this pain and suffering to help others. And so they don't have to go through this suffering that I did with arthritis and allergies and inflammation issues and headache issues. Thank God for that. So, we need to remember, if you aren't sure what supplements are the right ones to take for you, go to our prospernutrition.com website and take the free assessment. Find out what bundle works best for you to get started with. And we're just beginning to get testimonies on specific bundles, but these products we've been using for years, folks, and there are thousands of people that would testify. We're just trying to get smart and get it on video so that you can see it and realize that there is nothing like a professional supplement that we carry at Prosper Nutrition. Every day I'm debunking stuff that people bring in, and there's so many additives, Jason. I have to show you one that came in the other day when you get back into the office. And they thought they were doing good. And even foods that people are using. The danger of foods, my goodness, that on the label, the added sugar, the added preservatives, the hydrogenated oils, the coloring agents, the fillers, binders. It's just horrific what's out there in our food industry today. So we got to be wise about it, make wise decisions so that we don't end up sick and diseased. Because yes, folks, this is what's causing our issue with disease today. It is what we're putting in our body, the influence that the environment has towards us. The epigenetic studies in the year 2000 proved that 92% of all your maladies come from how you're treating your body. It's not your body anyway, right? God gave it to you. He's given you this life here on earth to glorify him. So glorify him in your body. I learned that the hard way, but I've learned it well. And I had such a good morning this morning outside planting seeds, 120 seeds. I got some new starters going, and it's just such a joy when the weather's nice and you can work out there in nature. Folks, I encourage that. It's very soothing. The fresh air, calmness of the birds singing, and green all around you, and the colors of flowers, and hummingbirds flying around, and doves just purring in the trees. It's just cool stuff. Nature made it for us. We would glorify God in our lives. Sorry, I got a little tangent there. But when I got back in, though, I definitely took my vitamin C Max from Prosper Nutrition. Need my immune cells to stay fueled. I do that 4 times a day. In fact, the lab, and we do a ELISA food and chemical sensitivity test. You can inquire within at info@prospernutrition.com. And, order your test. Get to know what environmental things affect you. But keep your ascorbate going. The environmental things that affected me before don't have a chance. Once I hit that ascorbate and those white blood cells get busy with that fuel, and they go to town. So now you want to read that 3rd bullet point there, Jason, on the 2nd page.
So yeah. Well, you're talking about at the end when we're going to talk about a discount.
Right.
So do you have the supplements that you're going to be talking today about on here?
Well, I think I just wanted to do a carryover of the supplements we did in the webinar. So it's the whole, glucose bundle.
All right.
I think we added, EPA to that.
Yeah. So stick around at the end. We are giving you guys an opportunity on this show. If you're listening in live or if you're listening to the recording, you have the opportunity to register to watch the webinar. We definitely encourage that, but we're going to share the coupon code near the end here real quick for you guys to hear it and take an opportunity to get started, because we know that if you get started taking supplements and getting results, it really is encouraging for you to start making the other lifestyle choices that are necessary, because we know that the supplements in themselves are not going to maintain the results. They're going to help you. Then the nutrients in those supplements are essential for the body to work well, but they're just a piece of the puzzle. And so if we don't work on the whole puzzle and get the whole puzzle in regard to lifestyle, the 7 proven steps that we've found working with people in the clinic, that's not going to be sustainable. But when you get results, when you start taking supplements right away, it's very encouraging, and it really gives you the boost, the energy to kind of really start making those other lifestyle changes.
Keep the momentum, reset your priorities. I mean, we invest, personally, I've invested a lot into supplements for many, many years, but I haven't had to invest in medical treatments, in drugs, in, doctor visits. Haven't done that. Stayed well. My wife now 35 years, not seen the inside of a medical facility since that time. So, and we had our babies delivered in a hospital. I guess we did not know at that time that pregnancy was not an illness and didn't require hospitalization, but we've since learned that. That's another topic for another show.
Yeah. We got a lot. There's so many things that we want to talk about with you guys. So we just, we can't talk about everything at one time.
Well,
so
what we need to do? Yeah. We need to interview Shauna, and we need to interview Michaela, Jason's sisters. They both have gone through some amazing times of making babies and delivering babies, and then, of course, now raising babies. We'll get on a show and do that for sure, and get more focus in that direction. So don't forget, folks, download the 7 Proven Steps guidebook that's on the website, prospernutrition.com. It helps to guide you in these health principles that we're talking about and help you to learn from what God teaches us in his word. So this
I put in the
article.
chat, folks. Yeah, sorry, Steve. I'm
Go
just
ahead,
letting them know. I
Jason.
put a link in the chat to download the 7 proven steps.
Great. So Timothy O'Shea, he's a medical researcher, and he put together a PDF. And I don't know if we can offer this for the folks if they want to read more about sugar. And from his PDF, I think it's about 15 pages. The sugar, the sweet thief of life. And many of his quotes in that PDF, I think he just took a lot of the highlights from William Duffy's book, The Sugar Blues, because we read The Sugar Blues 25 years ago, a number of times through. And some of these should be read just so people can hear the detail of how Duffy writes and how O'Shea is quoting him, of course. Jason, read that first paragraph, starting with white sugar.
Yeah. So start with white sugar. It is made by refining sugarcane, a process involving many chemicals, from beets, whose refinement also involves synthetic chemicals and charcoal. The big problem is that the finished product contains none of the nutrients, vitamins, or minerals of the original plant. I would also include fiber as part of that. Yeah. White sugar is a simple carbohydrate, which means a fractionated, artificial, devitalized byproduct of the original plant. The original plant was a complex carbohydrate, which means it contained all the properties of a whole food, which are vitamins, minerals, water, fiber, all these other aspects.
Yeah, enzymes, amino acids, fatty acids. That's just to name a few there. But high fructose became big really quick in the 1980s when Coke and Pepsi changed from cane sugar to high fructose corn syrup. It was less expensive and more profitable. But the problem was here we had a pure cane sugar that still had its vitamins and mineral content in there. And then we run into that issue with getting all the synthetic compounds, especially because high fructose corn syrup coming from corn, glyphosate sprayed, which is an estrogenic compound that increases the risk of cancers, most of them associated with the endocrine system. So we want to stay away from that. But Coke and Pepsi changed from this high fructose corn syrup to it. The connoisseurs, he says, knows the taste of the original. But read the labels. As of 1997, the worldwide production of high fructose corn syrup exceeds 8 billion kilograms. And most of that comes from our home state, my home state, Nebraska, Cornhusker State. You can drive for 8 hours, folks, and see nothing but cornfields. It just covers the state. So high fructose corn syrup, by contrast, cannot be well digested, actually inhibits digestion by addicting and causing a great number of biochemical errors because it lacks all the cofactors in metabolism that are necessary to complete the utilization of glucose into a cellular energy molecule, which fuels the gut and is released slowly into the bloodstream through fiber. Go ahead and read that one on complex versus simple carbohydrate, Jason.
Yeah. Well, an apple contains natural sugar, so fructose. A potato as well contains natural starches. But these are whole foods, so they're containing much more than just those isolated carbohydrates. They're going to have, like we mentioned, the fiber, the water, other cofactors and nutrients. Apples and potatoes grown in good soil, meaning soil that's not been tainted by chemicals, also contains vitamins, minerals, and enzymes. Such foods are complex carbohydrates, meaning that they are complete foods.
Yeah, and we are complex in our metabolism. Remind me next week, I'll send you it's a chart that shows biochemical pathways that they know of in the body. And when you look at that and realize that it's just so perfectly balanced in what the body does with it is homeostasis. It helps heal, it helps repair, it helps restore. Everything works in beautiful unison, just like a beautiful symphony. If you've ever been to one, all the instruments are playing in unity, and it's a beautiful sound. And our function, our ability to heal and move and live and have our being in all that God's called us to be is so much more enhanced when we do the things we need to do to keep that symphony playing for us. So click on that Harvard EDU link there, Jason. Pull up that glycemic index chart. So top 100 foods. And I encourage you folks to take and utilize this just to give you an idea of how you can understand the glycemic index of foods. So if you scroll up slowly on this, and this is Harvard's link there, you see white bread is now if pure glucose is 100, and that is what we rate everything against. A very high sugar density for cellular uptake. It's a 100. So white bread is a 75 plus or minus 2. Whole wheat, specialty grains. Just kind of scroll down there, Jason. They can get an idea. So you can see that some specialty grain breads have more fiber. And for example, barley is rich in fiber and has a very low glycemic index. So the sugar effect on your bloodstream is diminished when you have a low glycemic index. So folks, this is 60 plus foods. Take advantage of it. If you know you're struggling with blood sugar levels, understand what foods you're eating and what they could be doing to you. Look at cornflakes in 81 there. And rice noodles are moderate. There's not too bad. And even spaghetti that's whole meal is, look at that, a raw apple, a 36. So just a little understanding of glycemic index there. It's the rate in which the sugar in the food influences the glucose blood sugar in your body. Okay. Pop up our next article. Popular sweetener, erythritol, found in Truvia, linked to heart disease. New study says this was put on by the Environmental Working Group and their Insights News 2023. New study finds a link between erythritol. It's a common artificial sweetener, also used in a filler in stevia and monk fruit sweeteners. You got to check your labels, folks. You buy stevia, you want just pure stevia. Or if you get monk fruit, pure monk fruit. But a lot of companies are, because it's less expensive to use erythritol, they're adding it to it to give you the kind of sugar effect. And everybody makes comments that stevia or monk fruit has a certain taste to it and flavor. You got to find the one that you like. Powdered forms, liquid forms. We like to use liquid forms of stevia and monk fruit, and they're natural enhancers of the flavor of our foods. And we don't use much. I can use 4 drops of stevia in a tea in the morning. Tastes great. And just got to be aware that erythritol is out there and all this packaged stuff. So read your labels, folks. Make sure you're keeping an eye out for erythritol on your packages.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
The stuff gets in there really quickly and easily.
Yeah. They just, everything out there to make a buck, make sure they can make it taste good. So, and there's another one here by Environmental Working Group. Are artificial sweeteners safe for your child? So here's some research they did on the impact on children. If you can pull that link up there. Kids love
It's no
sweets.
secret that children love sweets, and that parents often try to limit the sugary treats their kids consume because of the range of health concerns, not to mention dental bills associated with sugar.
Yeah.
Of course. Instead, many turn to food and drinks containing non-caloric or low-calorie sweeteners, but those very substances, non-nutritive sweeteners, more commonly called artificial sweeteners, may themselves harm our health. And we've definitely seen that in the clinic. People come in and say that they're drinking diet sodas and they're having their non-sugar treats, but they're still dealing with some severe health issues.
We were at a wedding recently, and we're sitting at a table with a family we didn't really know, and they had 2 young kids, and one of them was sucking on a sucker, and it had some kind of a blue chemical in it, color, and his whole tongue was blue, and he would just scream at the top of his lungs. And then he'd go for a few minutes, do a few more licks, and then he would scream. And Mom said, you might be thinking about what's in that sucker. It makes him so wild. The chemicals in these things that we give our kids, they're not just messing up their behavior now. It's going to mess them up for a lifetime.
Right.
Go natural, folks. Use your natural sweeteners.
Yes.
So, parents who are intentionally buying artificial sweetener products may be disappointed if they're purchasing them in an attempt to counteract their kids' increasing consumption of sugar. Studies show that no connection between artificial sweeteners and lower rates of obesity. Doesn't work. In fact, they show the opposite. According to one study, sweeteners promote weight gain and metabolic dysregulation, and these artificial ones that are unhealthy, like xylitol. Some research even connected artificial sweeteners consumed during pregnancy with higher risk of gaining weight for the infants 1 year of age. So like the Environmental Working Group, we at Prosper Nutrition and Houston and Nutrition Health Center have long recommended limiting sugar consumption for everyone, especially for children. We suggest water and other unsweetened beverages rather than juice. We use essential oils. I put cinnamon in my oil. Client was in yesterday and she puts ginger in her oil. Some put lemon drops. Don't need the sweetener. And if you do, you can use stevia or monk fruit and be blessed. Well, beware of anything processed by man. Jesus knew in his heart, man cannot be trusted, he said. The sugar industry is a $100 billion a year industry. Help us, Lord. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and we don't need imitations of your perfect creation, Lord. Help us to go back to nature and get that which is created by you in its most natural form. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah, we have a testimony of a gentleman that actually followed the detox program, and I think it was just like a couple weeks. He avoided sugars and he lost some weight. Let's see if I can share that video. To see if I can get everybody to hear it. Let's see here. Oh, where is he? Here he is. Can you hear it, Steve?
No.
Okay. Let me see if I can share the audio.
Now the words are coming up there, which is good. Folks can get that on our Prosper Nutrition YouTube page if they're not able to hear it. Great testimony this guy gave. You can tell when he talks, he's just a well-spoken individual.
Yeah, he talks about, I'm going to share the link with everybody. Yeah, he talks about avoiding the processed sugars and that being something that helped him. So it was Drew, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that was cool. A lot of people have seen great results doing that for 30 days. People have done it up to 90 days following the detox program, avoiding those processed foods and really getting on point. And then following the detox supplementation, that's another thing that I think makes a big difference, is optimizing the body's ability to remove those excess toxins in the system.
Well, in so doing, then the cell works more efficiently and it can utilize its glucose better as well. So it's all body systems affect each other. So the topic we're on this month about sugar, the detox, foundational for sugar control. The detox is foundational for hormone balance. A detox is necessary for neurotransmitter function. Just everything depends on detoxing, especially your immune system. If you don't detox efficiently, your lymphatics get backed up. And then the lymphocytes that fight viruses, that fight cancer cells, they're working too hard and can't keep up and can't repair. And of course, disease can ensue. But there's our glucose balance bundle.
Yeah,
GBB.
that some of these are used in the detox bundle, the vitamin C one especially.
And the immune bundle, right?
And
like
so
me.
this is going to support the body's natural detox processes when you take this. And it's also going to help with the sugar issues when you're taking the glucose support along with the zinc, magnesium, and cell energy. So,
and then also we are highlighting the omega. We need the omega EPA for our cell membranes to take up the glucose efficiently.
mm-hmm.
And B12 also is a cofactor in sugar metabolism. B12 max. Most people are deficient in B12. I had a vegetarian I worked with just the other day, and I looked at her blood work, and her mean corpuscular volume, which is the size of the red blood cells, was about 105. And when they're that big, they just have these huge white or red blood cells that are sticking around because they don't have enough B12 to make new red blood cells. So B12 is so key for the bone marrow and producing new red cells, new white cells. And even the white blood cells, you can see it under a microscope. If they're have issues with B12, they'll have multiple segments within the nucleus of the cell. So that was that B12. So fish oil, there was one other that we had in the webinar. I'm trying to remember what it was.
They'll just have to register and watch the webinar.
Yeah, that was good.
That's the reason that's so important, folks, is we walk through a lot of details that help you grasp the importance of these lifestyle changes and some things that you can be implementing on a daily basis, even little things that you build upon on a daily basis. So those webinars we have available, we are posting them and emailing them consistently. If you ever have any questions, you can type in the comments or send us an email at info@prospernutrition.com. Let me phrase that again, info@prospernutrition.com, and let us know if you want the information as to our webinars. We can send those over to you if you can't find them. So those are really important and very helpful information that can help guide you on the path to prosper in health. All right, Steve, what's next on our agenda here?
I think you can close it out for us, Jason. We pretty much covered all the news we wanted to, and the testimony and the product. I think you need to give the product discount code for everybody, so they can.
This is a special code that you can get 15% off your glucose bundle and other products that we mentioned in the Reversing Diabetes with Nutrition webinar. So we definitely encourage you to register to watch that webinar to see the other supplements recommended. When you order, you are eligible to receive a guidebook that goes along with it that shows you what foods you can eat, what exercises you can do, and how to take the supplements. So it's definitely something you want to jump on as soon as possible, and great resources that can really guide you and get you on the road to better health and reversing blood sugar issues, diabetes. We've seen it in the clinic. You've had multiple people that you've helped reverse type 2 diabetes. And even type 1 diabetes people you've helped. Why don't you share a little bit about one of your people that you've helped with diabetes? That way they can kind of get a picture of what it is, like.
Diabetes is so prevalent today that I get people that come in that are diabetic that don't even know that they are. In fact, I think we read the research on that last week. The number of undiagnosed diabetics in America is huge. Not remembering the numbers exactly. So, and they come into and that's a great time to catch them when their blood sugars are fairly low and they haven't lost a lot of metabolic control and they didn't fall for the trap of taking a metformin or some other synthesized chemical that helps improve the sugar synthesis for a short time, but then the body becomes very resistant to it. And the metabolic dysfunction that is created, as we mentioned earlier, is hard to overcome and restore, but the body still restores. The body only knows health. It's just going to be harder to come back when you've been down that synthetic pathway. But people that walk by faith, they do their detox, they do their immune support, they get their glucose support going on. They see revitalized bodies, and it's done naturally. God intended it that way. So, it's just common occurrence to see 105, 110 on a fasting glucose. And then they go into the 80s or low 90s and even into the 70s. When we do follow-ups 3 months, 6 months down the road, the body just begins that repair process, the cell membranes, and instead of letting the sugar sit out in the bloodstream, the cells become more efficient to utilize the sugar, take it up, burn it as a fuel. And of course, they rave about the energy, which when we do our health symptom questionnaires, an average individual will come in with a health questionnaire about 80 points, 80 to 100, 120. Had one yesterday at 140, and follow-ups will be, 35 down into the 20s. If somebody came in and a lady came in, she was a 48, and 2 weeks or 1 month later, she was a 20. So from a 48 to a 20, so less than half the symptoms she had before. So they're listening to their body. They see their body's in repair. It's just a great screening tool. And we have that available for those of you who want to do a general health screen. I believe that's at nutritionhealthcenter.com. Do we use that on Prosper Nutrition, Jason? A general health screen? Maybe we can set that up sometime. But we do have that at nutritionandhealthcenter.com. I think we do that health screen and get a feedback on it.
Yeah. Well, the questionnaire that guides to whichever bundle is similar. There's questions, and it tells you, okay, you need to focus on detox or digestion or immune health or stress and energy. So those are great questionnaire that we have. The assessment, we call it our health assessment, kind of guides you towards which supplement bundle is ideal for you to start with. But I think that what I've shared in the chat right now, if you're live with us, I've shared the code in the chat for 15% off the glucose bundle and other supplements that we mentioned in the Reverse Diabetes with Nutrition webinar. So register for that webinar, watch the webinar. The discount code is RDW, N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, 23. Put it in the chat. If you guys get into our store and shop and get the glucose bundle, we will also send you the guide that can show you how you can exercise, eat right, and take those supplements on a daily basis to start improving your blood sugar and probably, very likely, reversing diabetes naturally. So take advantage of that as soon as possible. And let us know if you have any questions. You can type in the comments, share your testimonies. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to interact with you. We're live every Thursday at 3 p.m. So come and join us, and you can engage with us in the chat. That's something that we would really love to build up and enjoy your presence with us during this time to get your feedback. I enjoyed a lot the webinar, having, the people that we discussed after the webinar recording ended. We were able to answer questions for everybody that was there. They had a variety of different questions about supplements, about the health issues and how to handle them. And so I enjoyed that a lot. So hopefully we can do that type of engagement here with you guys live. It would be really, really nice to do that. So join us, tell your friends and family about the show. And we look forward to seeing you guys every Thursday at 3 p.m. Thank you for having me, Steve.
My pleasure. Everyone, we pray that you would prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. It's frustrating to feel like you've tried everything to reach your health goals, but nothing's actually helping. With personalized education and these
Evidence-based supplements.
yeah,
and
evidence-based
results-focused.
supplements that we use, you're going to get the results that you've longed for years. So we pray that you would take advantage of our questionnaire and get started. You will not regret that you did that. God bless you all. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank y'all.